Hello, everybody from the Zcash community and to the broader community. Welcome to this this Twitter Spaces. We're going to at a high level go over ECC's plans for 2023. We're having a little bit of a mix-up with the expected speakers that we had for today's event. Some of the speakers weren't able to make it just due to some logistical issues from other events that they were having for ECC specifically. So yeah, we're gonna go through a little bit different of an agenda, and to outline that, we're just gonna be going over technical updates, updates on growth marketing, and then updates on some of the research that we are doing here at ECC. For all of you who don't know me, my name is Ian Sagstetter. I am the head of community communications and community manager, and with me I have Nick Takas, who is our new director of engineering. I've got Nate Wilcox, and then also Chris Tomio, who is our head of growth marketing, and obviously Nate is our chief research officer. So as all of you who don't know, a big update we've had here at ECC is that Nick Takas has joined as the director of engineering to lead the all technical developments that are going on at ECC, and we've been working on a few different things in that department. So want to pass over the mic to him to go over the developments that have been happening recently, how he's been faring in the new role. And then, yeah, gonna just pass over to Nick and get some updates there and just plans for 2023.
Thanks, Ian. So welcome, everybody. Happy to be back with ECC. Regarding 2023, the primary focus from the engineering group, as many of you are aware, we went through 2022 with the NU5 upgrade, and that was preceded pretty quickly by an increased transaction load on our chain, which impacted end user wallet accessibility to funds, among other performance-related issues. So we have been laser focused on addressing that through a combination of changes, which will result in an updated sync capability that begins with the way that blocks are processed within Zcash D, the node software. Though there will also be changes to Light Wallet D, that kind of middleware piece that drives the accessibility from third-party and end-user wallets. And then final piece of that puzzle is an update to the SDKs, the mobile SDKs, one for Android and one for iOS, that will enable third-party wallet partners to access that new, we call it the DAG sync capability, which should then get us to a place by April-ish timeframe where the performance issues for higher level of transaction loads on chain are no longer a barrier to future growth. So that is our laser focus for the next quarter. And Ian, I will turn it back to you.
Awesome. Thanks for the update there, Nick. And excited to see the progress around DagSync and all the different things. I know that was mentioned out in the community forums and some different pieces that were put out by some of the ECC engineers. So excited to see that come into fruition and how that's going to impact the overall performance for the mobile SDKs and all of the different applications that are using those. So thanks for the update there. Going to pass it over to Nathan now. Nathan, just on the research side of things, product side of things, want to pass it over to you and yeah, get an update there.
Yeah, so right now, as Nick described, our focus is really on addressing the performance issues. And then moving through 2023, we have two sort of focuses I'm involved with. So one is launching an ECC wallet, and the other is proof of stake research. And let's see, for proof of stake, one of the first issues we want to dig into, sort of prior to more of the longer term transition or proof of stake protocol stuff, is to look at our current protocol and think about how well we can support shielded mobile users and how many, and try to do some projections. So if we expect a certain amount of growth, how well can the current protocol support that? Because the first thing we would want to do is make sure the current protocol or improvements to the current protocol could support user growth before we get to a proof of stake transition. And so that would be the initial focus. for that.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the update there, and yeah, excited to hear more about the proof of stake. Is there any, planned, just to kind of piggyback off that response there, is there any planned, research that'll be coming out in the near future? And, what were your thoughts, around community reception for the research that we put out previously? Like, what is, what is the current feedback that you've heard from like various community members and people, working on the protocol?
So yeah, there hasn't been recent updates, and that's because I turned my focus more towards the performance issues. The updates we were doing last year were sort of focused on examining the different sort of areas of the design space of proof of stake and thinking about how they relate to Zcash specifically and what trade-offs there are, and maybe what unique needs Zcash has or the Zcash community would have that would make it different than just launching like an out-of-the-box proof of stake protocol. So we, I think there's some discussion on some of those different trade-offs, and so like, for example, on the forum, there's a discussion about whether or not it's better to have a proof of stake protocol that can support many validators, or if it's okay to have a smaller number as long as end users can delegate to validators. So, I think there's going to be lots of like discussion about all these design options that will be ongoing as we work on a specific proposal. So our plan over the next year or two would be to sort of put together a specific proposal that like makes decisions for all these trade-offs, so that it's like a specific concrete proposal that people, the community can evaluate all at once, and then there might be discussions about if anything needs to be tweaked. And my thinking there is that could be more effective or productive than trying to hash out all of those separate decisions independently as a community. And yeah, so as we start approaching that, we'll definitely be soliciting like feedback on that proposal as it begins maturing. But we're a ways out from that. I think, yeah, we're a ways out from that.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for the extra color there. And I think from my perspective, like I obviously interact with the community, not specifically like the development community, but a lot of the various like communities within Zcash. And there's a lot of like good anticipation and excitement around the potential move to proof of stake. And I think it's really interesting to kind of see how the various people kind of think about this and the different things that they would like to see within like a potential consensus change. And I think, like you just mentioned, that forum discussion between the number of validators that could potentially be within a proof of stake protocol, having those types of discussions in public is really helpful as well. So it can also, gauge community sentiment. So if anyone in the community has specific thoughts around a shift to proof of stake or what type of proof of stake designs would be, best suited for Zcash, I think it'd be really good to go to the community forums and kind of voice those opinions so people can have those discussions in public, so we can kind of decide, as a community, which one is the best to move forward there. So super excited for the research on that coming out and super excited for the update there. So thank you so much. I'm going to pass off the mic now to Chris Tomio, who is our head of growth marketing, just to talk about, plans for marketing growth, etc. for 2023. So Chris, take it away.
Yeah, hi, thanks. Yes, for those of you who don't know me, my team handles brand and comms and web and digital and events and some of the leftover bits that nobody else has picked up. I feel like I have so much to say, but I'll try to be concise here and let you all get on with your day. One of the things we're most excited to be planning is the launch of a multi-channel marketing campaign to essentially reintroduce Zcash to the world and build a brand story for driving adoption. So what we believe is that we're in a weird time, and in 6 to 8 months, the policy and regulatory conversation is going to be hotter than ever. There will have been more crypto-related projects that have faded away or in some other way disappeared. But we hope that the industry turmoil and contagion will have dissipated somewhat, and we believe that it will have. We also hope to have a bunch of great shielded wallets working, lightning fast and secure, benefiting from some of the work that Nick's team is doing, and an ECC built wallet potentially on the horizon. So now, like suddenly in 6 to 8 months, the world and the future of economic freedom looks a lot brighter. So when we think about what we can do now, so that when the lights come on in August, Zcash is at the top of the conversation. It's in the mouths of the people and the organizations that drive sentiment. When we think about what we can do now, this campaign is it. So it's all about payments. It's all about Zcash as cash for a new era. We're hoping to kick it off in March and run through August. It will target influencers. So when I say influencers, think about like journalists and cultural allies and new to crypto / new to Zec users. The campaign has a lot of parts. It's going to run across web and social, some co-marketing activities, some online events. We're going to roll out some updated visual branding and some new messaging around this idea of Zcash as cash for a new era. Messaging around like, Zcash is good for everyday stuff like making a purchase on the internet, sending money to grandma, messaging around how Zcash is maybe comparable to other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. We're planning to roll out a new Learn Zcash experience online on z.cash, where people can go and ask a question or look at many of the most frequently asked questions about Zcash. It's essentially like a encyclopedia of Zcash knowledge. We're really excited about that. And then also some messaging around the technology. Zcash is groundbreaking, culturally relevant technology, and the world is interested and they should know about it. So we're going to tell them. Because this campaign is really all about education and reputation and perception, we're going to measure the effectiveness in a couple ways. One of which is share of voice. So relative share of voice, to be specific. So what that means is like the number of people talking about a certain brand or project today versus the number of people talking about Zcash, and the percentages and the percentage difference. And we hope to grow against 3 indexes. The first is competitors, which includes like, other privacy related projects. The second will be industry, which would be made up of, a number of the top 10 or 15 in terms of market cap. And then maybe potentially another one with regard to some stablecoin projects. So share of voice is one, and then the other is in net promoter score for Zcash, and we're going to measure that in a few ways: web and social surveys, email surveys to journalists or influencers, some things like that, hopefully with some help from our PR agency. Like I said, the entire goal is to make Zcash widely regarded as one of the most interesting and important projects for the future of money. We're building the campaign with the resources that we have and the time that we have. fully aware of constraints with people, resources, and budgets. And we're gonna need support from community, and we're gonna need support from other sort of across the ECC team. So we're really excited about it. We're really looking forward to showing it to y'all, and so stay tuned for March. I think I'll leave it there, Ian.
Okay, awesome.
That was a
Yeah,
lot.
no, it's super exciting. And I think like you mentioned something really cool there, like just about how people can use Zcash for like, everyday payments or et cetera. There's a really cool example of that. The Zcash Espanol community did a crowdfund for numerous families in a certain area in Venezuela that was affected by a rainstorm that happened in October. And they were able to do this like crowdfund campaign where the donors were anonymous from any parts of the world, and they were able to receive ZEC, exchange it for fiat, and then, help people within the community with groceries for like the Christmas months. So these people weren't going to be able to have those things for the holidays unless this technology and the cross-border payment aspect of it came into play. So it was really cool to kind of like ask the Zcash Espanol community about that use case specifically. And I think hearing more about those use cases over the next 6 to 8 to 9 to 12 months with regards to like this marketing campaign is going to be really, really exciting. So super excited about that update and super excited to be working with you on it, because obviously I'm a part of the team that's going to be collabing on that. So yeah, I think from a community perspective, just from an event side, I know that the Zcash Brazil community is having an event with a couple other privacy projects in Portuguese. That's going to be tomorrow at 8 o'clock Rio de Janeiro time, or Rio de Janeiro if you are from Brazil, Rio de Janeiro time, so 8 o'clock Brazilian time. And then there is the Zcash Arbors call that is at 22:30 UTC. That is going to be tomorrow evening. If you want updates on the Zcash Arbors call, the best place to go is the Zcash community forums. And there's a thread in there called Zcash Arbors calls updates. And that's where you can get updates on all the technical development that's happening around the Zcash ecosystem. And that's from the teams at Zcash Foundation, Electric Coin Company, teams that are recipients of Zcash community grants as well. So all the teams building on Zcash, that's the best place to go get updates on what they're doing. And I think I'm missing, there was another event that I wanted to point out, but it's getting away from me. So Zcash Brazil is having an event tomorrow, and also the Zcash Arbors call. And just an update on these spaces, we're going to try to standardize them as much as possible. So be on the lookout on Twitter. We think we're going to do another one within the next, 6 weeks to provide an update on everything that we've talked about today, just to kind of update everybody on our progress. So if you're just joining now, we're actually wrapping things up. We're trying to keep it short today because, everyone's got a very busy schedule, and I'm sure all the listeners here have things they want to get back to as well. So we're going to keep it short today, wrap it up. This has been recorded, so I'm going to tweet out the recording so everybody can access that. I recommend skipping forward 3 minutes so you don't have to listen to the intro and getting everybody involved as speakers as well. So Zcash community speakers, thank you so much for attending today.